Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Zenington, and welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. Welcome to new spoilers for Beyond the Bandlewood. Another new champion today. I love it. I love spoiler season when we get a lot of champions. It's always a fun time. I'll be honest with you though, today's champion, I'm not too impressed by. Not really my playstyle, but I think she is kind of decent. We have Tristana. We also have, no new keyword, but we also have the Bandle City Allegiance card, which is something that a lot of people were curious about. So, enough talking. Let's actually go and look at the cards. So, Tristana. She's fine. That's all I have to say. Besides being extra cute, Tristana, the card, it's fine. I'm not looking. I don't look at Tristana and I'm like, wow, look at the value, or like, wow, this is some aggression coming through, or like, wow, like, think of the value, etc., etc. I look at Tristana, and the kind of reaction I get when I look at Tristana is similar to when I first saw LeBlanc. I didn't think LeBlanc was bad. I was just like, that's it. I was like, it's fine. It's a unit who has some stats and quick attack. And that's kind of how I look at Tristana, a unit with some stats and quick attack. And I guess the nice thing compared to LeBlanc is she survives Avalanche and Blighted Ravine. And I guess Mystic Shot and a 2 damage spell. But yeah, so what does Tristana do anyway? Well, 3 mana 1/3 with quick attack. Mono Bandle City card, not a dual region card, multi-region card, which is actually kind of sad. Tristana has +1/+0 for each multi-region ally you've summoned this game. So she'll get bigger and bigger, which is why I compare her to LeBlanc. She also has another line of text. When you summon a multi-region ally, grant it +1/+0. So nice little extra buff every time you summon a multi-region unit. To level up Tristana, you have to summon 4 multi-region allies. And honestly, that level up the level up condition is why I assume she's not multi-region, because it would make it much easier for her to be leveled up. But if they were worried about that, they would probably just make her like summon 5 then, because it would include herself. But yeah. What do I think about Tristana? I don't know. It's just like the issue I feel like is she's a little awkward. Like, she can provide tempo and be annoying because of that quick attack and 3 health, but it's just a little awkward to get her going and get her some stats, because I assume like I'd want to have her be a 3/3 on 3, which is going to be kind of tough. You need to play a multi-region on 1 and 2, or I guess you could play 2 on 2, but still, that's a little tough to do. That's a little awkward to get going. And sure, you can say, well, she keeps getting bigger and bigger later and later, and she does buff your multi-region stuff. Yeah, but again, that's a little awkward. Also, we haven't seen that many multi-region cards yet. Like, sure, we've seen a decent amount, but I'll be honest with you, I don't think there's been enough. Like, we got the Poro Sled. Poro Sled's kind of annoying. Aloof Travelers. The Telescope, the Arena Kingpin, Tenor of Terror, I believe, from yesterday is a Shadow Isles Bandle City card. So there are some multi-region cards, but especially when it comes to like Arena Kingpin, the 3 mana 4/2 with quick attack, who's a Noxus Bandle City card, I'm not too keen on playing bad cards to make my champion better. Especially when my champion doesn't win the game by itself. Like, Tristana's not really winning a game by herself. Like, I don't know, Aurelian Souls or Karmas or, I don't know, Ezreal's even. So yeah. Well, let's look at her level up. Maybe the level up saves her. Here's the problem. Her level up is pretty much just an extra word. She does pretty much the exact same thing, except she's now a 2/4. No new keyword. Still gets +1/+0 for each multi-region card and gives +1/+0 for each multi-region ally you summon. Except now they also get impact. That's it. That's all that happens when she levels up, is that she now, besides giving +1/+0, she now gives impact as well. That's That's all. There's nothing else besides it. You might say, like, really? That's it? I know. It's like, it's not an impressive level up. So yeah, I'm not that impressed. Like, sure, I know people have told me like I'm underestimating impact. I don't think I am. Like, I see impact's good and impact keyword is strong. And this is kind of a win con. Like, you give impact to a bunch of things, sure. I'm more disappointed in, like, for a level up, that's not a big change. It's not like, oh, she's now going to, I don't know, like give a kind of aura or something like Senna or level 2 Zoe or whatever. Maybe she'll like, she doesn't create like a spell or anything like LeBlanc does, or I don't know. I just like to see more from a level up, just more complexity. I don't know. She's just, I don't know. I'm not too happy. I don't know. Excited. That's the word. I guess I'm not too excited by Tristana. I shouldn't say I'm unhappy. I'm just not excited when I look at this card. I'm just like, eh. It's going to be a 3-drop with quick attack who has a bunch of stats. Cool. That's all I see as when I look at Tristana, really. So yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I'm sure she can go in like some weird go wide deck with like Poppy or something. So maybe. Anyway, what's her champ spell? Her champ spell is Buster Shot. 4-mana slow spell. Costs 2 less if you have a Tristana or if you've summoned or played cards from 4+ regions this game. Deal 3 to a unit. Okay, not terrible. If you don't get the discount, it's just worse Aftershock, which is fine. But if you get the discount, 2 damage or 2 mana for 3 damage is a pretty good deal. And you might argue, well, it's slow. Sure, yeah, it's slow. I like this card even outside of Tristana decks, in all honesty. And the only reason I like it is because outside of Tristana decks, well, let me rephrase it. It's in Bandle City. There you go. That's why I like this card. And that's why I like it. It's damage-based removal for a region who might have weak removal. You might say like, oh, well, what about Minimorph? Well, you're not going to use Minimorph for everything. And they still are left with a 3/3 you have to deal with eventually. So yeah, Buster Shot, especially in a Tristana deck, very solid card. Pretty good tempo play. Lets you get rid of annoying cards while pushing more damage in. Also helps out. Also gives Bandle City something it was looking for, which is just a smaller damage-based removal spell, which it was kind of lacking. But if you had to pay 4 mana for this, I would not play it even in a Bandle City deck, because 4 mana for 3 damage at slow speed is just bad. Plus, unlike Aftershock, it can't hit face, so yeah, no, that's kind of meh. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, she's just okay. Like, a stat stick with quick attack that's gonna crash in and get chumped over and over. Pretty good champ spell, though. Yeah. I've seen some people ask me, like, how about with the Bandle Tree deck? The 5-mana landmark, if you don't remember it. I don't like her in Bandle Tree decks. A Bandle Tree deck feels just like it would be too slow for Tristana. Like, I feel like Tristana just wants to win the game on her own instead of having to try and win with Bandle Tree. And you might say, well, Bandle Tree gives you cards. I don't think a Tristana deck wants to play a long game where card advantage matters. But I could see you playing Bandle Tree as maybe a one of in a Tristana deck as like a weird alternate backup win con, because you'll be like, oh no, my opponent's starting to like pull ahead and win the game, but their actual win con hasn't been like achieved yet, and then you just drop Bandle Tree and win the game because of, well, the win con of Bandle Tree. So yeah, like, I don't know. Unless I feel like it's like Vagar. We're gonna have to see more cards for Tristana, because the way I'm looking at Tristana seems like a board centric tempo deck, and at the moment I feel like Demacia, Shurima, and to a lesser extent Shadow Isles all can do that as well, and Demacia and Shurima especially can just do it better at the moment because, well, Demacia has premium combat tricks, challengers, Shurima has Merciless Hunter, Severes, and Ruin Runners. So I don't know. But yeah, I will say this though. With the release of more and more multi-region cards, though, Tristana will just get better and better, though. So definitely a card to keep an eye on every time they print a new multi-region card. So yeah, I think the best way at the moment is probably like to build Tristana is probably like a mono Bandle City deck, like Tristana, Poppy, and the new Allegiance card that we'll look at later today, and just go wide. Maybe even play like a one of Bandle Tree as a backup win con. Maybe that what's it called? Shell game, the give something elusive for the round to try and get a win con, or try to get a win with Tristana as she gets bigger and bigger because you keep summoning multi-region cards. So that seems kind of cute. But yeah, I really just feel like there just aren't enough multi-region followers. I feel like a Tristana deck will want to play a lot of multi-region cards, and you'll need to have a very, very powerful card in your deck that is not multi-region. If you're not, if it, yeah, let's start it over again. I feel like in a Tristana deck, for you to play a non-multi-region card, it has to be powerful. So yeah, so like the Allegiance card, which we'll look at soon, is a good example. I could see maybe the Otterpuss coming down early on, and I'm pretty sure that's only a mono Bandle City card. But yeah, I feel like almost every single unit you play needs to be multi-region. And the problem is I don't think there's enough good multi-region cards in the game yet that have been announced yet. There are definitely going to be more that will be announced in the future. But yeah, so new cards, or sorry, next cards. We got more cards. Some of her support cards. All right, so we already talked about Buster Shot, pretty decent card. Bandle City Mayor. This is another example of a card that is not a multi-region card, but I still think you should play in a Tristana deck. So what does this guy do? 3 mana 2/2, pretty bad stats. That's like the stats of a premium or just decent 1-drop in all honesty. Actually, 1 mana 2/2 is a solid 1-drop. So you're paying an extra 2 mana for the stats of a 1-drop. So what's this guy do? Your multi-region units cost 1 less. That's pretty good. And unlike, say, Herald of Dragons, it doesn't die to a ping. And that's one of the reasons why Herald of Dragons is so bad. Just dying to a ping is so bad in a world of, well, at the moment, Make It Rains, but also Vile Feast, Go Hards, Whales, etc., etc. He has a little bit more for him going on. When you play the guy, manifest a multi-region follower. I like it. If you're against an aggro deck, you try and find like a cheap stabilizing card, so like a 1 or a 2-drop, or maybe a lifesteal card if there is one out there. Against something more, if you need just more value, you go for some value late game card. So there's always that option. I like it. I'm a big fan of this card. Probably one of the better support cards and just better cards in the Tristana deck, because it automatically replaces itself. So even if your opponent just Mystic Shots it, you're like, well, at least I got a card. And if your opponent doesn't kill it, then you're getting some nice mana acceleration with its with the discounts it's giving. And then if you're going for like a Bandle Tree win con, then this guy's pretty solid because it lets you just pop out units over and over and over and just accelerates you really quickly. But yeah, good card. Now then, next card, Bandle Painter. 3 mana 2/3 augment. To play it, discard a card to create a multi-region follower in hand. I like it. I don't think this card is good, but I do like it. And the reason I don't think it's good is because the multi-region, for the way I'm reading this, the multi-region follower you're getting is going to be random. It's not like you're manifesting like the Mayor. The Mayor is good because you get a selection of cards. This one is just going to be a random multi-region follower. You might get like some extremely expensive multi-region follower when you need something cheap because you're against aggro, or vice versa. You might get something cheap when you need something value oriented. But I do like it. I like it because I just like cards like this that let you get rid of cards that are kind of mediocre in a matchup or at a point in a game for something else that's decent. So, like, you know, like Spacey Sketchers, Sump Dredgers, etc., etc. Is this card on the power level of, say, Spacey Sketcher or Sump Dredger? I'd say no. Yeah, I say no. So yeah, because like Spacey Sketcher gives you a selection as well. So and the cards are all good because Celestial cards are just good. So yeah, I would say though, like it is a good stat line. Like sure, 3 mana 2/3 is kind of a mess stat line. Like that's a stat line of a 2-drop, but thanks to Augment and thanks to Manifest and the painter herself creating the card, you'll hit Augment a couple of times and you'll make like a 3 mana 4/3 eventually. So it's fine. I just don't know what kind of deck I want to play this in. I don't think I would play this in a Tristana deck. Maybe like some weird Bandle Tree control deck is what I'm thinking. But even then, I don't have faith in the Bandle Tree as a viable meta-defining deck because Scorched Earth says hello. And now, the last card for this page. The Allegiance card. The card that a lot of people were looking forward to. He's actually pretty good, in my opinion. 4 mana 4/3. Pretty good stat line. Impact. Pretty good keyword. Allegiance. Summon another Yordle follower that costs 3 or less. That's a huge tempo play. And there are some Yordles that are pretty I don't know if I would say game winning, but very good. Like they're making some cards that are already in the game into Yordles. So for example, Mentor of Stones is pretty decent off of this guy. I believe Greenblade Lookout is also another one. Arena Bookie could be fine. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I like from this guy. And in all honesty, it just helps you go wide on the board really quickly for, say, your Tristana or your Poppy to, you know, just get more stats on the board, more bodies on the board to receive buffs. So I like this guy. And ever since this game like first released, summoning 2 units with 1 card has always been decent. Like look at House Spider. House Spider is the classic example. That's one of the reasons why House Spider is still played today. Being able to get 2 units down for playing 1 unit is just a huge tempo swing for you. So yeah, the question is really is like, is Mono Bandle City going to be good enough? And I think, yeah. I think, or at least for Tristana, I think, like I said earlier, I think Tristana, Poppy, Mono Bandle City for the Grenadier is going to be playable. I don't think it'll be good, but I think it'll be playable. And then you can splash like another region, like Ionia for Deny, or I don't know, Bilgewater for Make It Rain or something, or Shurima for Merciless Hunter or whatever. Or I guess you could even go to Demacia for Rally Effects. So I like it. Big fan of this card. And now, the last page. I'll be honest with you, the last few cards, kind of mediocre. Bandle Gunner. Or Bandle Gunners. 8 mana 7/7 Spell Shield. Extremely expensive card. When I'm summoned, if you've summoned units from 4+ regions this game, grant me impact 4 times. That's it. I don't know. I don't like it. This is a very expensive card. It takes a decent amount to actually get the payoff, and it's not a big payoff. Like, I don't know. I like that it has Spell Shield. That's cute, but to use another 8-drop that I can think of off the top of my head, Grandfather Rumel, also a card that's 8 mana and is not even played. He's a what? An 8 mana 8/4. He doesn't need anything else. Well, I guess you could argue he needs allies, but he doesn't have a win con like you got to summon stuff. You just play him and he gives 2 other allies +0/+4, and that's pretty good. That, and he has Overwhelm as well. And he still sees no play. So I'm not too impressed. I guess you could argue, well, Impact 4 is pretty much Overwhelm Streamer. Sure. And the 7/7 stat line is much better than Grandfather Rumel's 8/4 stat line, but I don't know. So, yeah. It's expensive. It has a deck building requirement around it with the whole multi-region stuff. And I don't know. I feel like they're just it's kind of like a finisher, and I just feel there are better finishers really in maybe maybe this will be the finisher for a Bandle City deck, but I just feel like if you had to play this as a finisher, you probably should look for another deck because I'm not impressed by this. Now then, next card, Double Tap. Interesting card. 6 mana fast speed spell. An ally strikes an enemy. If the ally is multi-region, it strikes the enemy again. So it's a concerted strike that only uses one of your units instead of two. It's more expensive, but the trade-off is if the unit you're using is multi-region, it can strike twice. I don't think that's good enough. And sure, you can argue, well, Demacia's thing is kind of one of Demacia's things is good fight spells like Concerted Strike. Sure, I get it, but 6 mana is very expensive for a fight spell. And plus, again, we're going back to this. I don't think there are enough multi-region cards. And yeah, again, impact on a multi-region unit into double tap, that's really cute and all, but I'm not too impressed by it. I just think we need, for now, I think we just need to see like a couple of big or just like sizable mid-rangey multi-region cards that benefit from like striking or killing for this to be good. So like, I don't know, a multi-region card with lifesteal or a multi-region card that, I don't know, has fury or something. So, but yeah, I don't think we have seen anything like that. So, you might play it though because it's a strike spell and it is fast speed. So it's still like even again, like I said, concerted strike, bad concerted strike, still not terrible. So you might see it as like a 1 to a 2 of in the right deck, but I don't like it. Speaking of cards I don't like, Yordles in Arms. 5 mana slow spell. I don't like slow speed spells. I'm sorry. Give allies +2/+2 this round. If you've summoned or cast cards from 4 regions, give allies +4/+4 this round, or +4/+4 instead. So we can have a card like this already in the game. We have 4 Demacia, which is a 6 mana, give your allies +3/+3 this round. That card is only seen play really because Vanguard Sergeant, the 3 mana 3/3, generates that card. Some people have tried it in their decks, in Lux decks, but it's kind of bad nowadays. So this card's 1 less cheaper and usually gives 1 less stats by 1/1, but occasionally will give you 1 more stat by +1/+1 more stat. I don't know. Slow speed buffs, like slow speed board wide buffs, are kind of bad. Like we have those. Like I said, for Demacia, Call the Pack, I think, the Freljord one, none of them have really, like, no board-wide buff spell has seen play except for, I want to say, I can't remember the name of the card. It was played in Fizz decks. Oh man, this is gonna bother me now. Oh, I should know this. Mind Meld, that's the card's name. Mind Meld saw play in Fizz decks because it gave a lot of stats, and Fizz decks had elusive. So maybe this on, like, some elusive cards can work, but I don't know. But yeah, I can see this on some like elusive, maybe yeah, actually now that I think about it, yeah, some kind of like elusive Bandle City deck will play this as its win con, as its like finisher. And then it's even more annoying if you can rally or scout with this too. So I can see this getting played. I'm just not a big fan of it, so I don't have high hopes for it. And now the last couple of cards. First off, Grape Shot. Pretty easy to evaluate. 1 mana fast spell. Deal 1 to an enemy. So that alone makes it Blade's Edge. 1 mana fast spell that says deal 1 to an enemy. But if you have 4+ allies, deal 2 instead. So 1 mana deal 1 cards aren't really played. Like Parlay is playable, but that's because it can also hit face if you really, really need it. And the reason I feel like these kind of spells, like 1 mana deal 1 spells, just don't see play enough is they don't have enough impact late in the game. Like, sure, they're great early because, they kill things in the early game, but Late game, they're kind of meh. You can say like, well, what about Go Hard? Go Hard's kind of an exception because it transforms into Pack Your Bags. It also has lifesteal too, so there's that. Now you might say, but streamer, what about if it deals 2? Then it's like a 1 mana Mystic Shot. Yeah, that's true. 1 mana deal 2 is good. Don't get me wrong. The issue is it's not easy. That is a tough condition. It's not like if you summon 4 allies or if you summon 4 multi-region allies, you just have to have 4 allies. If you have 4 units on the board, you're probably either in a good spot or you're in a terrible spot because that means you have 4 allies on the board and you're not making progress towards killing your opponent because they gridlocked you. And yeah, I don't know. Like, it is 1 mana deal 2 is good, but I think the requirement's just a little too tough and too awkward. But yeah, I don't know. But I think it'll make it into a Tristana Swarm deck as like a 1 to 2 of, because it is decent when you get it at up to 2 damage. And now then, the last card. This card I like. Purple Berry's Shake. 1 mana burst spell. I love cheap burst spells. Grow an ally to 3/3 this round. I like it. Especially for like Teemo and Fizz decks, just like small decks. Just small decks that are just going to be like, oh, you're going to try and like, I don't know, Vile Feast my unit? Okay, I'll make my 1/1 a 3/3, and now you have to deal with a 3/3 instead of a 1/1 this turn. And then if it's elusive, it's just that much more annoying. So, big fan of this card. Don't really know how much I can talk about this card because it's not that complex. But I do think I could see this card being a staple in decks that want cheap combat tricks that use small units like Fizz decks. The only problem I'm seeing with this is it does kind of need your units to be small. So there's that. I guess you could argue like, well, it can heal your units if they've been damaged. Like your 4/4 became a 4/1, and then it will bring it back to a 4/3. So there's that argument, but whatever. But yeah, I think it's a solid card. There are a lot of small units around Bandle City and other regions, so I think this card will find a place in a deck. Fizz automatically and Teemo are the 2 I'm thinking of, so I think this is a solid card that will see some play. And that's all for today's cards. But yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed the video. Maybe you think I'm wrong. Maybe you think Tristana is a lot better than I'm giving her credit for. Maybe you think some of these cards I think are great. Like the Allegiance card aren't as good. I'd love to hear your opinion. I'd also love to hear if you have any idea of how to play Tristana outside of like a mono Bandle City Poppy deck, because that's all I can really think of how to play her. So yeah. I hope you all just enjoyed the video in general. If you did, please be sure to leave a like or a comment down below. Always helps me out. And if you guys want to keep up with the Legends of Runeterra content, you can always go and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to watch me play some Legends of Runeterra, you can go and check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Zenith. I stream there pretty much every single day. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all again once more for watching this video. And until I see you guys in the next one, bye!